Morocco. In the summer, the mercury can climb well into the 40s here. There's dust to go with the heat, and that does brutal things to cars. The locals in the towns that stud the mountains and desert here don't have money to blow on new cars, so they'll run old ones until their wheels fall off, then just fix them when they do. These are the cars that time forgot, but there are some newer ones, and they're almost exclusively Dacias. Much of that is down to history. Morocco is a former French colony, and Dacia owner Renault has had a presence here for decades. Now Dacia does as well, with not one but two factories. In fact, Dacia has a massive 28.4% market share here. No frills, you see. Turns out that this is an approach that's also hit the spot in austerity Britain, where the Duster in particular has proven hugely popular. Since 2010 and across 2 generations, Dacia has sold more than 100,000 Dusters in the UK to budget-conscious, badge-agnostic buyers. Full confession, I'm one of them. And almost all of these cars will have been private sales, so because this is a car people choose rather than a company car, the result is a deeper relationship.
I suppose you could say it's kind of anti-design in a way, except that the new Duster has definitely seen the inside of a design studio. There are arrowhead motifs all over it, inside, in the headlights here, in the body cladding down the side, in the nose. It's got big alloy wheels, in this version anyway. There's scope for accessorising it. We've added a roof rack. You can turn it into a mini camper van if you want. But it's slightly more rounded, but still has an admirably chunky stance, which we like. Also, like all new cars, the new Duster has grown, but only by a couple of millimetres. So that's all right then.
Recycling. This used to be the case for its underpinnings too. One surefire way to keep costs down is to recycle old platforms, and the previous gen Dusters used old Nissan and Renault Clio bits. The new car was always part of the bigger product picture, and because it uses a current group platform, it's competitive when it comes to interior space, crash protection and noise insulation. It also has the advanced driver assistance stuff that Dacia pointedly ignored before, to the detriment of its Euro NCAP rating.
But the law demands it. So say hello to speed limit recognition, auto emergency braking, and of course lane departure assist. And then say goodbye to it, because all this stuff drives me absolutely crazy. Fortunately, it's really easy to turn it all off in the new Duster. In fact, you can personalize your own settings by this little button here, My Perso. It's a shortcut I really appreciate. The interior really is a major upgrade. The steering wheel isn't actually quite round, but it feels good. Somewhat worryingly, for those of us who are Dacia purists, there's a digital screen for the main instruments. Works fine. Weirdly, the rev counter is linear, like you would get in an early 70s Vauxhall Viva. And then Dacia have seen fit to introduce a central touchscreen. It's a little bit laggy, and I personally could live without it. I'm quite happy to have a car where you just dock your phone. I mean, that's all we really use, isn't it? I mean, when was the last time you used the satellite navigation built into a car? And here's an interesting thing. The new Bugatti Tourbillon, which costs £3.2 million plus local taxes, so let's round it up to about 4 million. That doesn't actually have a central screen. They've got rid of it. It only slides into view when you really need it. So like people who spend 4 million quid in a car, all they want to do is plug their phone in as well. Has to be said though, the interior materials on the Tourbillon are slightly higher quality than they are in here. I mean, that's pretty hard plastic, but the genius of it is you can't really tell by looking at it. So unless you're a dashboard fetishist who likes squidging to see if it's soft feel, this is perfectly good. Climate control, in the old Duster, it's done by rotary knobs. For some reason in this one, there's a little panel of switches here. Personally, I prefer old dials, but these work perfectly well. It's worth pointing out that this is the top spec one, so we've got kind of copper elements here in the air vents, and this coloured panel here and down here. Storage space, actually, for a car of this kind, this could be bigger. Down here, this is where I chuck the key. Must admit, This is a kind of group Renault thing, the old kind of credit card key. I really hate these. I'd far rather have a normal key, and the old Duster has a normal key, but I guess they think this is high tech. Little knob here for your 4x4 settings, and it's worth pointing out that this thing is really very capable off-road. We arrived where we are sitting right now across that, and it's a bit more gnarly than it looks, let me tell you. But the other thing I really want to big up are the seats. This is some kind of recycled fabric. It's breathable, which is good, because at times on our journey the last couple of days, it has been touching, I think 50 degrees was the hottest we saw yesterday, but it's been well into the 40s a lot of the time. And we've also done a lot of driving, a lot of kilometers, without any backache. My shoulder's sore, but that's a completely separate thing. Overall, I think the interior on this car is a major win. Comfy, usable, fit for purpose. A bit like me.
The UK can choose between a 1.2 litre 3-cylinder TCE with 128 bhp, that's good for around 45 miles per gallon on average, or a more powerful 138 bhp hybrid in 2- or 4-wheel drive form. There's a choice of 4 trim levels: entry-level Essential, mid-level Expression, or 2 top levels, Extreme or Journey. Essential Dusters get the safety kit, roof rails and rear parking sensors. Expression gets you 17-inch alloys, the digital screen and Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Spend more and you'll level up into a world of bigger alloys, automatic aircon, wireless phone charging and a 3D sound system that's actually really good.
But that's drifting away from what makes the Dacia Duster a Duster. I mean, I own one. I've done thousands of miles in it. It's the family workhorse. It's refreshingly simple to live with, to drive and to operate. That said, this version is better to drive. It handles surprisingly well. The chassis, obviously, the platform is the latest version, so the dynamics are much improved. It steers, not with any great amount of feedback, but it's linear enough, accurate enough. There's a little bit of wind noise off the mirrors, but at sort of motorway speeds, there's no real noise, which is amazing because it's a 1.2 litre 3-cylinder engine. Actually, 3-cylinder engines are pretty characterful. I like 3-pod engines, about 128 brake horsepower, which is more than enough. It's pretty spirited, actually. You know, you don't have that problem. We used to call it time exposed to danger when you're overtaking a vehicle, and you're like, I'm not going to get past this truck. You know, it never leaves you in the lurch like that. There always is just enough to get the job done, and that's all you need. Manual gearbox. In fact, the powertrain, you know, the engine's fine. The gearbox, as in my old Duster, that's probably its Achilles heel. It's not particularly nice to use. It's kind of springy. It demands very smooth inputs, but I like it. It's nice to drive. It's quiet. It's you know, you wouldn't know there was a tiddly little 3-pot engine up in front there, and it pulls away nicely even in 6th gear. It's absolutely fine. I mean, fine's a crappy vanilla word, isn't it? But it's more than fine. It's really quite good. In fact, it's really, really good, given that the entry-level version of this car is still sub 20 grand.
Dacia hasn't confirmed UK prices, but they've crept up a bit. There's a surprise. Expect the Duster to cost from around £18,500. That still represents great value, and the new car is much better resolved as a design, a superior drive, and more refined overall.
I'm not sure he's having a particularly good time on this road. It's not even the sort of road that you would maybe want to drive a Dacia Duster on. This is the Dadez Gorge. We're about 5,500 feet up, and this road was constructed in the late 1920s and early 30s by the French military. An amazing feat of engineering, and apparently the Berbers, who are the local kind of tribes people here, still are now in fact, would roll rocks down the hill on the construction crew because they didn't want a road. I'm glad it's here though.
But we didn't come all the way to Morocco just to drive this. We're here because Dacia's motorsport team is in the country's southeast to test its new Dakar car, the Sandrider.
It's not a good idea to unfold a large map in a wind.
Now, the Dakar, as you may know, is the world's toughest off-road race, a 2-week odyssey across 5,000 miles of Saudi Arabian desert. If Dacia was going to chase any checkered flag, well, I guess this is the one to go for. It's all about endurance and durability. Dacia is co-developing its Sandrider with British rally and rally raid experts ProDrive. It'll be no mean feat though. Audi made 3 attempts before it finally won in 2024 in its RSQ e-tron, and in 2025 Dacia will be up against the might of a Ford factory team in its V8 powered Raptor. We caught our first glimpse of Dacia's Dakar Racer back in 2022, but just didn't know it at the time. Back then it was the Manifesto concept, a back to basics go anywhere off-road buggy. There were no doors, no windscreen, and the dashboard was made of cork, but it helped legitimise Dacia's pursuit of the outdoor enthusiasts market. It's not all lifestyle marketing fluff though. You can get an extreme spec on its models, while there's even a sleep pack that consists of a mattress that folds out of a box in the boot of a jogger or duster to let you snooze the night away wherever you've ended up. Dacia's 2-ton Sandrider Dakar car has no such creature comforts though, but it does at least now have doors and a windscreen. It's powered by a 3-litre twin-turbo V6, good for 360 bhp. It's obviously 4-wheel drive, and there's a 6-speed sequential gearbox. Note, it also runs on Aramco synthetic fuel, more sustainability. The testing regime in the Moroccan desert aims to simulate what the team will face in Dakar next January, and the terrain is similar. It's also hot. Very hot, pushing 50 degrees C in fact, unrelenting and harsh, and it's called the Sandrider for good reason. This car will run in the ultimate T1 Plus category, but the devil here is in the detail. The spare wheel is uncovered to speed up a change after the inevitable puncture, and a magnetic plate built into the Sandrider's bodywork prevents the bolts getting lost in the sand during tyre changes. The crew can access onboard tools quickly without needing to open a box. And that driver lineup is stellar. 5 times Dakar winner Nasser Al Attiyah will drive one Sandrider, 9 times World Rally champion Sebastian Loeb another, and Spanish off-road sensation Cristina Gutierrez will pilot the third. That's her driving the Sandrider as we flew overhead in the medical helicopter. Meanwhile, back on terra firma. How has the new Duster stacked up after 750 frantic miles in the heat and dust?
Fitness for purpose has always been one of the key criteria when it comes to assessing a new car. It's also something that's been eclipsed by the rise of touchscreens, connectivity and apps, all that stuff. The Dacia Duster has always been desirable because it's good at what it does, as well as being good value. The new model doubles down on that.